Hey guys, me, Great Collector here. Today we'll be showing off my EMF collection. Um, First off, we got Captain Hook, which will be showing my Disney CMFs. Um, we got Pan. We got we got Pizza Guy. And in here is the classic policeman. We got the trendsetter. One of the knights. The spaceman. The female skier. Yeti. Highland battler. Cyclops female. The Kindle Fire. Cyclops male. There's the difference between the male and female version of the Cyclops, in case you guys are wondering. We got Pretzel Girl. Red Brick Guy. The Gorgon. We got the female scientist. The punk rocker. We got Willie. The I can't remember this one. But we got him. There's Comic Book Guy.
Turn the heat on, get the door shut, and turn the heat on and overheat the house right now. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. But we need to get the heat on. It's already 69 degrees.
We got the old timey diver.
chill off the house and overheat. It's supposed to freeze tonight.
We got we got the we got we got the Blazer Mac. We got the Butcher, Grandpa, Martin. The Dino Tracker. There's the second night. retro features. Yeah, retro feature hero. Um, uh, the Diner Waitress. The mechanic. The blue cheerleader. The spaceman. We got Lisa and Church McIntyre. The nerd. Him. Roman Shoulder. I think that the zookeeper. '80s guy. I was wondering what happened and I was wondering where Newt was. Cool. So I can put Barding. I can put Barding and Newt with my Harry Potter CMs. What do we have here? We got the ice skater. The banana suit guy. Another scientist. The fitness instructor. Mr. Good and Evil. Chief Wiggum. Oh yeah, I remember when I got to that guy. Makes sense. We got the There's the bride. March Harriet. Bumblebee Girl. Alien Avenger. Genji. Space Spire. I did end up picking at least one up of the Rogue. Cool. I didn't even realize I did. We got the Rogue. We got another box. We got Maggie. The Viking Girl. There's Pan. We got Red Riding Hood. I know I have her laid in my bin. So these lights are insignificant. Hang on a sec, I'm gonna go grab my minifig. Minifig winter bin. I know I have her laid. I know I ran across them. Sorry, guys. I'll give her plain white later right now. We got Dr. Stewart. The, I don't remember her name. We got the Gawk Girl. I don't remember ending up with two of the Gawk Boy. Okay. My third night. Don't remember who that guy is. The Toy Soldier. Sergeant. control officer. Smithers. Intergalactic Girl. Archaeologist. Skater Boy. I'm just I'm going through my CMS. If you want, you can come in and chat with me if you want. But overall, I'm doing okay. Hey, Jude.
Hey, Robbie, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just going through my minifigures.
Yeah, I just saw that you was live, so I thought I'd stop by and see how you was doing.
Yeah, I'm Yeah, I'm putting the only other two Disney CMFs I have are, besides the one from series 2, of course, are 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 Hook and Pan from series 1.
They did a Hook and Pan.
Yes.
I did. I'm kind of behind on knowing what CMFs they made, so I didn't know that they did Hook and Pan in series one of the Disney characters. Those those are two I'd like to have. So I gotta keep an eye out for those.
And they both have dual mold. They both have dual mold legs.
Cool.
And
Yeah, Hook looks pretty cool.
I don't have Hook's accessory right this moment, but he comes with a I can't remember the name of it, but it's a gold version of the fencing sword.
I'm trying to think of what they called them things.
I think
It's not a cutlass because the cutlass is
it's
a cutlass is a standard sword that they used. It was a shorter sword, but it was flattened with a flat, wide blade, double-edged blade. Did it?
yeah, and Pan comes with
I can't.
two of those gold daggers.
Yeah, yeah, because they look more like the pirate. They that gold sword looks more like the pirate cutlass than a regular sword would. That's why they use that one for him. And we
Yeah,
have Dead Bricks Customs in the chat.
the 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 the, the figures they had for series 1 were Stitch. It was Stitch. Um, was the classic Disney character Mickey, Minnie, Daisy and Donald, Ursula and Ariel, Syndrome, and Mr. Incredible.
Oh man, Syndrome and Mr. Incredible. Those two would be cool to have.
Yeah. Uh, um. And they got Frozone and Edna in series 2.
Yeah, I know Frozone and Edna. I got several Ednas because I put an Edna on the walking down the sidewalk in my city. So I like Edna. She's also like that character on that. She's this lady that does her voice is the same one that does the. It's on that NCIS Los Angeles or something. One of them.
Yeah.
I like her, so I got a couple of her and I used one to put on the street in my city.
Jedi. If you want to, Yeah, yeah. I currently have coming. Um, oh shoot. Vintage Mickey, Chip, and Hades and Hercules.
Cool.
I got the. I was able on my trip. Over the holidays, I was able to get I was able to get Scrooge and the Nephews.
Cool. Yeah. Uh, you did. You did ask me a while back if I had any other extras for Series 2. I think I had already sent any extras I had for those to you, so I'd have to
Okay.
look and check, but I don't think I had any other extras for that series.
Yeah. Besides Jasmine.
Yeah, I think I sent out what I had extra. I think I sent it. I'll have to check, but I'll have to do it when it gets a little bit warmer. It is a little bit cold down here right now.
Yeah.
We're in a little bit of a snowstorm that Nashville doesn't have very often.
But the checklist is not being. The checklist is not being flight. But there is everybody for Series 2.
Yeah, I got that stuck in my collector's book.
Cool.
I mark every one that I get with, so I know. So I got that in my collector's book. It's presently 14 degrees here in Nashville, Tennessee.
So so how many did you end up how many did you end up collecting from Series 2?
Let me see. Let me get my book. This is when I say the book, it's the minifigure character encyclopedia that supposed to come with that little toy soldier character that you have that you showed a while ago. But mine did not come with the soldier. All it came with was the wind up key.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I got mine from my friend at the flea market and it was used. So let's see, Disney series. In the front of the book, I got one of each of the. If I have a character from the series, I have the checklist in the front of the book. That way, it's my official checklist. So I have them all marked off.
Cool.
Let's see if I can find where Disney one is. Disney. There's Lego Movie 2. There's DC, so I know I've passed it because it was before DC. Doggone it. I'm still trying to get used to bifocals. They can be a pain in the butt sometimes.
Jedi, if you want to ask me a question, go right ahead. If you're not here, that's fine too.
Okay, where the hell did it go? Doggone it, did they get out of order? Let's see, there's 5, 7, and I am missing a couple of checklists for a couple of figures. And let's see, there's 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, Batman Series 1, Batman Series 2, Simpsons, Ninjago movie, 40th anniversary, Harry Potter, Unikitty, Lego movie 2. Oh, there's Disney behind Lego Series 2.
Um, to answer, um, what um, um, what I use to store my minifigure, since we have cats, this is an old treat container. Um, there's some people that use, but you use what they're calling V-trays. What's called V-trays, which are plastic divider trays to store minifigure. It all depends on your space.
Oh, the way I store my minifigures, I got some of them displayed on the wall on a base plate on the little stands, but then I pack. I've been packing some of them up if I got the series complete, I'll pack them up, and I get the little Ziploc bags that are 3-inch by 3-inch because they're a good size for minifigures with extra accessories, and I label them. I write the series number and the number that they are on their checklist on the bag, and then I put them in one of them plastic shoebox size boxes. And because they stack good and they go on my shelves pretty nice, that's how I keep track of it. And I put a piece of tape on the box to write on, and I put which series are in that box. That way, when if I want to find something, I can't. But now the extras are actually stored in a display box, and they're either open and pre-bagged in the 3x3, not touched, because I like open the bag and to verify which one's in there, and then I dump all the parts in the 3x3 bag without touching them, and then label it what it is, and I stick it back in the display box like they are on the shelf. And then some of them are just numbered. I write the number up in the upper right hand corner of the bag if I can identify them without opening it. I'll put the number on the bag. So I put them in the box, and I got a box, one of the series boxes with Harry Potter and a bunch and the two others. I think it's two other series extras mixed in. So because I sometimes go in, and if there's a box, I'll buy whatever's in the box and take the box. And A1 Ivana, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it says I'm still looking for Mr. Gold. That is going to be a big price to try to get a Mr. Gold.
Um, um, do Uh, um, it like like with me, it depends. Um, with with me, it depends. Um,
Yeah, like my extras, the ones that I open to verify, I label them and I actually slip the Ziploc bag back in the original package, so it still comes with everything. If I go to sell it somehow, it still comes with everything. And no, the display boxes I collect these display boxes. That's why I take them. You know, if they're there and I go to buy a bunch, I take that with me. So
um,
I forget which ones I have. I got I think two Harry Potter series twos, a series 20. Oh, I forget which ones. I'd go look, but it being so cold right now, it's my Lego room is like not heated at the moment. So if I open the door, the temperature in my house is going to go down because the heat's going to rush in there. So I don't want to go in there and unless I have to. But I did find the checklist for the Disney series 2, Robbie. I got all of them for my collection, and I forget what you was asking me about that. I don't remember.
I was just wondering if you had any extra besides Jasmine, but um, that's
What
either
you
any
said?
extra,
Extra Jasmine?
any extra besides Jasmine. Um,
Oh, I don't remember now. I don't remember which ones I sent you already, and I don't.
you sent me Jasmine. That's why I phrased the question the way I did.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check on that. I might check it tomorrow if I could probably duck into my Lego room tomorrow for a little bit and check. And I can't remember which ones I have extra. I know I have a couple of. I know I have at least two of Hades, and I was wanting to experiment on one of them. So I might have three. I can't remember because on Hades that blue flame hair is actually glued to his head.
I know. Um, I know, like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're glue some of them like I don't know why they did that. They just why do they
And,
glue?
I don't think it would. I don't. Um, People are saying it's the Ghost Rider mold in blue, but I don't. I think it's a brand new. I think that's a brand new mold.
I'd have to look at Ghost Rider. I hadn't looked at a official um Lego Ghost Rider yet. I don't have that set, but yeah, the Hades. It's weird because it's like they don't want them to be nobody to be able to use that blue translucent hair for anything else that comes on Hades, so they glue it to their head. I think you could get it off if you took a piece of thread and put around the head and worked it up between the head and the hairpiece and put the soaked the thread in denatured alcohol, because the denatured alcohol helps remove super glue. So I bet you could work that sucker up in there and get it to dissolve the super glue and pop the hair off. I've been meaning to try because Reed, Hope Castle was wondering if there was a way to do it because he wanted to use that hair for stuff, and I've been meaning to see if I could do it.
I honestly, I don't think so. I think that's a dual, um, um, that's not a hairpiece. That's not a hairpiece glued. That's
You think
a,
it's you think it's dual moded?
yep.
Um, I'm not for sure because it doesn't make any sense why they dual mold a clear hairpiece to a head. I don't see why they would go through that much trouble for that much of a specialized head just for the hair of Hades and maybe Ghost Rider. Because after Hades, they hadn't used it since Ghost Rider if it's the same headpiece. And dual molding takes a little bit of timing on they have to have a special mold for one half and then have another mold for the other half. Or actually half they have to have half of the mold and then the piece goes into another mold where the other half gets connected to it. But so that would mean they'd have to have almost basically two molds for a dual molded piece. And I don't know if they would have gone through the trouble for Hades in a collector series. And then wait, 2-3 years before they use it on another figure in a set. So I'm betting you they just had regular molds, molded them, and just glued his on. So people, for I don't know why, maybe because I guess the translucent plastic is a different mixture than the regular ABS, so it might not have wanted to stick on as well. So they decided to just glue it in place.
I
So
don't.
that could be one reason why they done it.
I don't know. It's one of those.
Yeah,
I will.
and by the way, denatured alcohol will get off.
AREA.
Denatured alcohol will take off any Sharpie marker off of a minifigure, and it will, with enough rubbing, take any other paint off. Like, say, if somebody painted one with a paint marker or something like that, denatured alcohol will take it off. You have to rub it off, rub it a lot, but it will not take off the factory printing that Lego put on the figure. It won't take that off, but it will take off Sharpie and any other paint applied to the figure.
Um, 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 Lego had done specialized parts for um, for for figures. Um, for figures before a prime example. A prime example is two prime examples is Rocket um and Rocket Raccoon and Miss Marvel. Those are two prime examples right there. Um
Prime
they
example.
um 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 I'm not I'm not saying it's not glued. I'm just trying to make a point that Leo has done specialty pieces that they only use on one.
I hear what you're saying. Yes. Yes.
Huh?
Specialty pieces that they only use on certain figures. Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Some.
that guy A1 Evan in the chat asked, "Where can you get that stuff?" I'm assuming you're talking about denatured alcohol.
Um. Um.
You can pick that up at Home
You
Depot.
You can get it. You can get dedangered alcohol at your like I don't know what country you're at your local um
Hardware store.
what no, I was gonna say supermarket, but that's the side point.
Yeah, I don't know if they carry it at supermarket. I don't think they carry it at Walmart. Like any place like Home Depot, Lowe's, like a hardware store with
Yeah, or whatever your equivalent to a hardware store is, because I don't know what country you're in.
or he says he's in the USA hardware store. Yeah, Home Depot carries it, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's on the same aisle where you'd find like mineral spirits and uh uh lacquer center and what's that other one? Crap, what's that one?
Are you talking about paint thinner?
No, it's that one that's basically the same thing as fingernail polish remover. I can't think of the name of it right offhand. Oh crap! What the? But you don't want to use that on Lego pieces because it fingernail polish remover and the equivalent acetone. That's it. Acetone will just slowly melt the plastic of the minifigures, so you don't want to use that on them. And I have not tried paint thinner or mineral spirits, but they're kind of harsh. They might take the original print off, where denatured alcohol takes Sharpie off and some of the model paint brands off of it.
Um, um,
Because that the guy that I work with at the flea market, his friend that sells pocket watches there actually rubbed all the paint off. There was extra paint. He come across a Joker minifigure, and he rubbed all that had extra paint. Somebody like tried to repaint it to something else. Well, he took and he rubbed all that extra paint off with denatured alcohol. It takes a little bit of rubbing, but the original print stays intact, and it takes any of the other stuff off. And I know it takes off Sharpie because I've used it to take Sharpie off of them. So it's probably the mildest remover you can come across.
I'm I'm so happy some because I was able to get her
Ooh, adult Ahsoka Tano.
Yep. I got
Oh,
the.
one I can brag about. I got what's the set called? Trouble on Tatooine. The set that comes with Mandalorian on the speeder bike.
Yeah.
I picked that. I found that one at Walmart the other week. Last week. Yeah, last Friday. Yeah. So I picked that one up.
And my other um um my my other figure that I'm proud of that I got. Um,
That's a nice looking little
um,
case.
it's this girl.
Oh yeah, that's that. I can't ever remember her name.
Jessica Cruz.
Yeah, that's a nice little case you found right there. That it's perfect for little figures, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. I have to get a.
Yeah.
I have to find a black air tank for him. Then I'll have a black Futron minifigure.
Black air tanks. They're kind of easy to come across sometimes.
Yeah, I know they are. I know I have some around here. I just don't know exactly where they are.
Yeah, just had to get a big look through, huh? I know how that is. I got 10 10 10 bins sitting in my Lego room of unsorted bulk buys. Most of them I think all of them I've actually gone through and picked out all the minifigure stuff. So around here, I got several containers full of minifigure parts. and
I think I'm debating whether I should replace um the
that's Benny.
I should replace Benny's torso with an actual vintage um 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 with an actual vintage blue spaceman.
No, don't do that. Benny's supposed to look like an aged vintage blue spaceman. So his printing on his emblem on his chest is supposed to have wear on it, and his helmet is supposed to have that crack in the piece
I
that goes
know
under the skin.
I know that, but I found a blue spaceman torso in a bulk lot um when I was going through bulk.
Yeah.
Um
What you could do, hold on to that torso, and you come up with the blue legs and find a good helmet and actually put together set and call it a retro Benny that the blue spaceman how he originally looked in when he first come out undamaged.
yeah, and I found all the pieces to a vintage yellow spaceman with the exception of the torso.
Yeah, the naked spaceman.
Third Bumblebee girl's headpiece. I knew I had it in here.
Bumblebee, are you telling me you got your Mega Constructs intermingled with your Lego?
Huh? Huh?
Are you saying you got your minifigures intermixed with oh, you're talking about that Bumblebee head. For a minute there, I thought you might have been talking about the Bumblebee head for the Transformer. That wouldn't be Mega Construct. That'd be Creo. Do you keep all your Creo figures and Mega Construct figures separate from your Lego figures?
Uh, yes.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
That's the first thing I do when I get a bulk lot. I'll go through the bulk lot, looking at all the stuff, and pull out any minifigure part or accessory, and put them in a separate container. And then, if there's anything notable, like really special piece for a set, I'll hold that out. But like,
out of um um this guy kind of make me sad.
oh, Two-Face, and you ain't got his legs.
Yep.
That'd be a cool one. Two-Face is a cool character.
There's Simon Baz's Lantern.
Cool. Is that the same mold piece that they used for the? No, that ain't the lantern in the Big Bang Theory set. That wasn't an actual lantern piece in that set, was it? No. Not like
Because
that.
it wasn't a lantern piece. For the simple reason, they the
It was a brick. It was a brick built lantern, wasn't it?
yeah, it wasn't a lantern piece because of the simple fact, the 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 lantern mold did not come was not made when
Yeah, it didn't exist at that point in time.
yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I knew there was a lantern, but I couldn't remember if it was molded or brick built. I guess I should know that it's brick built because I got that set and I built it. I'm getting too old, Robbie. I can't remember stuff.
I still don't know how I know half the shit that I do.
Yeah, I still got unlimited knowledge of Transformers stuck in my head because I used to collect Transformers.
Really?
Yeah, what is now my Lego room at one point was my Transformer room. So all the shelves that go around that whole room used to be covered with Transformers. And I was like, was it 7? I was 7 figures short of having every G1 figure ever made.
Wow.
Not including the mini spies. The mini spies, a whole different story. But I had a lot of them, and then I had a majority of the G2s. I even had some Machine Wars figures that a lot of people didn't even know about Machine Wars because it was right before, or actually, it came out right when Beast Wars first premiered, and I had a lot of Beast Wars, and I had some Japanese Beast Wars, and then I had all the ones from the series that started up in the 2000s, the Robots in
Oh,
the Sky,
oh shoot. Um, oh shoot.
and all those series. I
It
had just about all of that.
it was called R.I. It was called R.I.D. Oh shoot, R.I.D.
Yeah,
Um,
for
um,
Robots in the Skies.
um,
Uh-huh.
but but in Japan it was called Car. It was called Car Robot, and it was
Yeah,
it was one of the first series that Takara and Hasbro shoot um Takara and Hasbro produced together.
actually, it was that. Actually, it was one of the, that's not absolutely correct. It was the first series that originally started in Japan, where most of the others originated. The concept come up from America. Well, not including the original G1s, but
Um,
like, do you remember Beast Wars? It
yep.
actually is originally put out. If you got any of the ones from the first or second series of Beast Wars, it did not say Hasbro on the packaging. It said Kenner because Hasbro bought out Kenner, but Kenner got to run for a little bit longer under its name. Kenner is the company that came up with the ball socket joints that they use on the Transformers. If Hasbro hadn't have bought Kenner, Transformers would still be blocky as hell because Kenner's the one that came up with the ball socket joint that made it be where they could transform but still have a lot of posability and motion in robot form.
Wow.
Yeah, and Hasbro has bought a bunch of toy companies throughout the years. If you remember in the 2000, was it 2001 or 2002 version of the RID series of Transformers,
Mm-hmm.
there was a subline called that was a smaller that were like GoBot size or Hot Wheel size cars. Those were actually made with the same molds that they used in the was it 94 where they put out a Transformers line in G2 series called Transformer GoBots, which were actually GoBot molds because in 1991 Hasbro bought out Tonka, which Tonka was the company that released GoBots here in the United States and had some of the molds. So
I
Hasbro bought out their competitor,
I
and
um um those Hot Wheel size Transformers from RID 2001. I actually own them. Um 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 they made the Spy Changers, which was what that line was called, Spy Changers. They made
yeah,
they made the Spy Changers in two um um they were available two ways. Either either clear or solid.
yeah, those molds, the actual molds that they used for the RID series were the same molds that they used back in I think it was 94 when they put out the small series. They had to use the name or they'd lose the rights to it. So they put it out a series, and Optimus Prime was a Dodge pickup truck in that series. He was a little Dodge
Oh,
pickup
I
truck.
know which one you're talking. I know which one you're
Yeah,
talking about. You're talking about oh shoot.
they used the same mold for Ironhide in the RID series, and
No, 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 no. You know, you're getting your
they
series wrong. Um, Ironhide didn't appear at a pickup truck and tell fight.
are you sure? I could have sworn I had a.
The first time he appeared at a pickup truck in Transformers Media was what actually Energon.
Well, no, I don't mean the major line. It was the GoBot line. It was the smaller line. He was in
Oh,
the
okay. I know which
yeah,
one
the
you.
RID the RID series. They had a mini line for the RID series, and Ironhide was a white and black
He was a white
a
pickup
white
truck
pickup truck with black cow
with like
spot
a
pattern with a
um his color scheme looked like a looked like a cow with a with like a ram head on it.
yeah, exactly. That was him. That same mold was used in the 90s for the Optimus Prime figure in the small series. And in that small series, they called them GoBots. They actually had one character that they actually named GoBot because they had to use the name to keep the right to the patent.
Yep. Um.
And you
Oh,
remember, like through the 90s, you could go like to places like I don't know if y'all have it out there, but Big Lots. You know
yes.
what a Big Lots is?
Yes.
Okay, throughout like the 90s in Big Lots, you could come across these figures that were packaged on weird looking cards, but like they actually looked exactly like the Constructicons
Mm-hmm.
in some of the other combiner sets.
Yes.
That that happened because Hasbro and Takara shifted from having the factory in Japan making the stuff to having a company in China make their parts. The contract deal with that company was like, okay, you make us 50,000 parts for us, and you can use our molds to make 10,000 parts for yourself. And they could package them, and they were specifically told they could not package them saying anything about Transformers, you know, or the
That
character name.
explains that is that explains so much because I would always see a knockoff of
Yep.
RID um oh shoot
Yeah,
RID Megatron.
mm-hmm. And they did it. I don't. They're probably still doing it because
Um um
it's cheaper for them to get the
um
parts made in China and then
mhm.
and let the Chinese company use the molds for and relabel it for their own product. And see, that's what I kind of think would happen with Lego because the biggest manufacturer out of China that produces something like Lego is called Mold King, and I think they have like 5 subsidiary companies that they actually disperse the stuff through. I think Lego got a company in China to make Lego parts, and in the deal, they get to use the mold to make their parts for themselves.
My
But if you notice, Lego only said something about it when they started distributing Star Wars like sets that actually made sets identical to their sets. They have
my
not they have not filed lawsuit on any of the other sets that they copy, just the Star Wars stuff, because the Star Wars stuff actually belongs to Disney, and they weren't supposed to do it.
my
And
first my first and only combiner um was was a toolbot, a toolbot combiner.
I had two different versions of the Toolbot. I might still have them. I can't remember if I still have both of them or not. But yeah, I had two different versions of the Toolbot.
I remember they made a they 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 made a big scale version and they made a small scale version, but I don't remember if they made Toolbot with any other tools that combined.
The the one I had took was it? I can't remember if it was 5 tools or 6, but it had 2 screwdrivers, flathead and Phillips head, pair of pliers. I think there's 2 different versions of pliers, and I can't remember the other 2 tools. And they had
Okay. Okay. The toolbots were uh were a flathead, a saw, oh shoot, needle nose,
needle
uh,
nose pliers.
um, um, normal pliers,
Yep.
um, um, square, hammer, head, a hammer with a square head on it, and a hammer with a round head on it. And the hammer with the square head on it had your combined robot head.
Yeah, that I think I still have that set.
And they made it in two. They made it in two. Like the handle for the hammer was the lathe and combined mode, and the 2 screwdrivers were the arms. No, the 2 screwdrivers were the were the feet, and the pliers were the arms.
Yeah, they did do their own construction version of a Constructicon, which was a little bit different than the original.
Mm-hmm.
I think it actually came with 7 different robots instead of 6, like the Constructicons, and one of them actually had soccer ball shaped missiles. And so,
the most interesting product to come out of Big Lots was, I think, do you remember when they made the I call them the micro combiners, where they made like like uh like it was basically G1 combiner knockoff, but they were um action figure size.
Yeah. Now they did. Hasbro and Takara did release a micro series that had micro line. I think the Japanese version is the only ones that had the micro combiners. But yeah, they did have some of those got knocked off too because they were molds that they actually used in the 90s, so they got knocked off. And
I remember specifically they had the aerial bot.
yeah, all the original Hasbro combiners ended up getting knocked off in one way or another.
The only one that I did not see a mini version for, um, um, which I would have gotten if I would have saw it, would have been um would have been oh shoot Ironicon.
Yeah, I do know the knockoff versions of like the aerial bots that were the exact same size. All parts to any of those were interchangeable with the originals because they were the same molds. So I actually used a knockoff version of the Aerobots to replace some missing parts out of a, a set I had of the original aerial bots that
Mm-hmm.
was parts. So you could actually use them to replace the parts. And
Yeah. I had some. I only had knockoff Transformers when I was a kid. I didn't have any official one when I
yeah,
was a kid.
the the one um the one Autobot named Jetfire, that was the gigantic jet that was originally a Macross, uh, the Robotech Macross series that they,
Yeah, the one that was um the one that they couldn't use um because the rights to it was oh
yeah,
my
they couldn't use. That's why in the cartoon he was called Jetfire instead of Skyfire instead of Jetfire, and in the cartoon he actually had a face, but the toy had a metal head with a like visor strip across his face. That because he was a copy, he was a Macross
it's
jet from Robotech.
it's pronounced it's pronounced Macross.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I say it both ways, and I sometimes forget which one's the right way. But yeah, it's the Robotech Macross one, and they couldn't use the likeness because Macross owned the rights to that. I thought it was funny that they let them use the mold for the toy, but they wouldn't let them use the likeness for the cartoon.
And
They
and
did actually. I had some knockoffs of that one because Takara actually owned the rights to the molds to that one, so that it did get knocked off in the 90s and early 2000s. I had a couple of knockoffs of Jetfire at one point, but they were instead of Jetfire stickers, they actually had the Macross stickers on it.
And and also directing that when they finally released the Valkyrie in the Robotech line, um um Transformers was so um was was on its way, and um and the Valkyrie was supposed to transform in the Robotech line, but um they actually fused the legs to transform it to um you can still put an action figure in it. It just won't transform into battle mode.
Yeah, well, the Jetfire I had that I got when I was a kid, you could actually put it into the jet mode, the half between where it looked like a jet, where it had the legs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the full robot mode. But the cockpit didn't open, so you couldn't put a figure in, which I think the Macross version you could open the cockpit. I'm
Yeah.
not sure because I didn't have any other Macross figures. So
Yes. 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 You could put it. Put um
so the
the
one of the other
the
there's
figure in the Macross version, but the Macross version did not transform into battle mode because um before that toy was ported over to the States, um uh Hasbro, Hasbro got the right to use that toy um as as Jetfire, and um when when Bandai released um uh brought over Robotech, um and they were going to release the Valkyrie, Hasbro went, no, 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 no. You can't do that. We have this figure over here, and it will confuse people on shelves. You can release your toy, but it can't transform.
did, did you actually know that in the 80s when the Dinobot series come out in Transformers, the company that helped make the parts actually put out their own line? So there was two different lines of toys that came out in a toy store at the same time that had transforming dinosaurs. They were exactly the same except different colors. The the company that actually molded the pieces for them had a couple of different dinosaurs than Hasbro got to release.
Did you also know when Hasbro ported the Dinobots over, um um they still had their Diaclone cockpits.
Yep, just like a lot of the cars in the first, first series, second series, and third series, and like Optimus Prime, Blue Streak, Prowl,
Jazz.
Smokescreen, Jazz, Wheeljack, um, what was the
Ironhide,
black
Ratchet.
Trailbreaker and Hoist, and then the fire engine and the orange truck that looked like the fire engine. I can't remember their names. That actually
They
had die
come
castable
the
parts.
the two vehicles you're thinking of are Inferno and Grapple.
Yes, all those were actually that had die clone. I mean, that had die cast metal parts. They are actually figures that the molds actually belong to Takara's Diaclone series, including Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. So they all had cockpits for that little figure, and including the Insecticons. The Insecticons had the little cockpit hole. It didn't have a seat in it, but they did have the hole where you could stick a figure in. All the ones that had diecast parts were the ones that were originally from Takara's Diaclone series. That that's the series that was failing. Takara would have went under if Hasbro hadn't said, "Hey, I'll buy your extra." Let's do this. And
Um,
Takara's like, "Sure, we'll package it however you want it. Let's do this." And Hasbro hadn't stepped in and said, "We'll help you out." Takara would have went under in the late 70s, early 80s.
I have a question for you. Um, what are your like you were around um um during the during the original Beast era. Um, what are your thoughts of them bringing um them um them bringing back um basically updates of the Beast Wars figures?
If the Beast Wars, if they bring them back and if they're exactly the same molds and everything, it will be a disappointment. But if
No, no,
they
no,
like
no, 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 no.
it,
No. With
it's
kingdoms, um, th- they brought back um 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 the the
character.
Maximals and Predacons um in their in in their original Beast Wars um in their original Beast Wars modes, but updated with like the modern.
Yeah, okay. If they bring them back with make them look like the original characters, but in better toy form. Sure, if they update the form, their molds and everything, and make a better toy, sure, that'd be cool because that's kind of what they started to do for the um Legends. I think was it Legends line. I can't remember. I think it was the Legends line because I kind of got out of Transformers around 2008, and they had started bringing back the Legends line where they had redone Optimus Prime and a bunch of them where they had more posability, but they actually looked more like the original G1 version, which I kind of liked. And I know that's the molds they used for some of the convention exclusive figures that they had, like I can't remember the series. they had a convention series called crap, what's this called? I can't
Did
remember what it's called, but it was kind of like an alternate universe kind of deal
did
where
did,
Optimus Prime and the
did
Autobots were
the one
bad
you're
and the
did
Decepticons
the
were
one you
good.
did the one you're thinking of shoot, Shattered Glass?
Yeah, Shattered Glass, because they came out with the Optimus Prime. He was all in like Decepticon colors. He was purple and black and whatnot, and he was the bad guy. And the Decepticons were in the lighter colors, like the good guys. I
Yeah,
actually had a couple, had
yeah.
several of those
The
convention
Autobot
exclusives,
symbols were
and I
purple
sold
and
them.
the Decepticon symbols were red.
Yeah, I had a bunch of those, Robbie. I had the first convention exclusive set that came with 5 figures with the broken glass Optimus Prime in purple.
Mm-hmm.
I had that one. I originally paid like to go to the convention. I paid 200 and was it $276 for the
Wow.
convention, and I got that 5 piece set in that bundle. When I sold that set, I took it to a local store here in Nashville. Could crap, I just blanked on what the name of it was.
Well, well,
But
well.
but
Anyway,
they dealt with all kinds of collectibles like that. Plus, they sold. They had, well, they have. They're still around. They have baseball cards and computer games. Anything collectible, they have. And I took them there and sell them. When you took stuff like that there, they would either give you anywhere from 1/3 of the value, the like that they could come up with online. They'd give you 1/3 or up to a half or more, depending on how you had it. Now, since I had them still in the original boxes that they came with and everything, and they gave me a little bit over half of the original price. I took 2 of the collector series sets in, the Shattered Glass and the one after that. I got 900 and something dollars for those 2 series, where I originally paid. Well, the guy said they were worth the guy that ran the convention said the sets were worth $270, and I went and resold them for half the price and got 900 and something dollars for both of them.
not a bad investment.
Yeah, but think about it. If I had gotten full market price,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been close to $1,000 a piece. But
Yeah, yeah. My personal favorite Transformers series has has to be um actually it's Armada.
Armada is pretty cool. I like Armada. Armada. I sold all my Armada figures. Uh, from from uh like I said, the RID series to let's see, I had RID, Armada, Energon. What was the series after Energon?
It was no, it wasn't Prime.
No.
Hang on. What came after?
I got a book. I know I got a book on the shelf right here that could tell me, but I can't get to it. Oh shit! What was it? Because Armada is the first series that had mini cons. Then Energon had mini cons, and then the next series had mini cons. And
It was after it was Armada, Energon, Cybertron, then animated.
Cybertron. I don't know if that doesn't sound quite. That might be right. I can't remember. That sounds about right. Because when they started the animated series, they no longer had mini cons.
They
And
our Armada, Energon, and Cybertron were known as the Unicron trilogy.
Yeah. It's slowly coming back to me. But the mini cons, the concept how the mini cons actually worked with the toys.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually an old design. One of the guys back in the 80s that was still with the company when they came out in Energon and whatnot, he was trying to remember, like, in the toy line, Bumblebee, Cliff Jumper, and all them were the smaller Transformer toys.
Yes.
He was actually the guy that come up with the concept of making them like a mini con figure where they could attach to the larger figure to boost power. But they said they turned him down in the late 80s because they were like, there'd be too much
engineering
mold. Yeah, too much mold reconstruction and everything to make those characters do that. That's where you came up with Headmasters, Target Masters, and Power Master figures were kind of offshoot that they could do because they were slightly remolding the characters anyway, so they could make those changes. Which, like, Target Masters actually came out with like some of the G1 series, because I actually at one point had a G1 Jazz that came with the Target Master gun, which was a gun that could transform into a little figure. Which
I know what a target from
yeah.
I know what a target master is, but thanks for explaining for anybody watching.
Yeah. And they actually ended up having some figures that came out as dual target masters that had two guns that would transform into figures. I kind of liked them a little bit, but then I kind of like they were Fortress Maximus was a headmaster figure, and Fortress Maximus was the largest transformer they had ever made at that point, which stood 2 feet tall. His head actually transformed into a figure called Cerebro.
Oh shoot, Cerebros. Um,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I'm getting a little tongue tied on that name.
yeah,
But that
or
that
or if you're talking, Japanese, he was called emissary.
yeah, but I can't. I'm tongue tied and I can't say the name right. Cerebros. That figure's head was actually would transform down into Spike. Where if you read the comic book series, some actual humans offered to combine with Transformers that had lost their heads for some reason. I can't remember, but originally the original Spike figure that ran around with Sparkplug, his dad, and hung out with Bumblebee. Spike actually ended up becoming Cerebros' head. Cerebros becomes Fortress Maximus' head,
Right.
which
Um,
I
and
always kind of thought that was a little bit out there. I was like, nah, that ain't the direction it takes in my universe.
and um in the original cartoon, um the final episode of the original American run of the cartoon, um Daniel Daniel fights um Spike and Carly's kid had a um uh had some sort of medical condition, um where if he didn't get help he would die. Um, so they developed headmaster technology, and Daniel was actually the head for RC.
RC,
Yep.
I knew I had read the comic. I had like 2 or 3 of the comics, and I don't remember them all that much. But I knew Daniel ended up having to be combined it with one of them to save his life. I thought he turned out to be the head of Hot Rod because at that point Optimus had returned and Rodimus stepped down from being Rodimus back to Hot Rod. But I don't remember. That was so long ago. I can't remember how how it went down. I knew he ended up being a head for one of them, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember which one.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
And like I had
Um.
in the past, I had done a lot of research on like the uh, the history of Transformers and everything. The actual, not the story history, but like physical history. Like
Yeah.
The original Optimus Prime toy was actually patented in 1978,
Wow.
and it didn't get Takara didn't hook up with Hasbro until '82, so it got released in the '83 lineup. That's when Transformers came out. Here in the state was '83, and
Actually, 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 to be um, okay, um, actually, um, I think I think you got it incorrect. Correct. I think GoBots came out in '83 and Transformers in '84.
Actually, they came out the same year. They were competitors. The first year that they came out, Transformers actually, the physical notes say that Transformers came out in '83. They were some actually hit the shelves in time for Christmas of '82, but nobody knew what the hell they were.
I thought I thought I thought I thought
The the
um
cartoon the cartoon releases, I think GoBots came out in the cartoons a little bit earlier, so more people knew about what the hell GoBots were, and that's why Transformers didn't weren't as popular that first run because nobody knew what they were yet.
um yeah but when the series came out in '84 um premiered in '84, it was um after Transformers got popular. If you had if you had GoBots, you were considered you were considering a family not well off.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. The GoBots came out in '80, right around Christmas of '82, '83, just like the Transformers. But the GoBot cartoon, I think, actually premiered in like around the same time of December '82, '83. So everybody started knowing what GoBots were. And I actually originally was on the GoBot wagon because they had a lot of them. They were smaller, and were cheaper to buy. But
Mm-hmm.
then, by '84, when the Transformer cartoon actually premiered, I liked the Transformers better and started collecting the Transformers. So
Um, I I have a question for you. Um, do you like? I already know the answer, but I'm just wondering if you do. What was uh the original um name for GoBots?
do what now?
What was the original name for GoBot before it was released on GoBots in the United States? What was his
Yeah,
what was his
the
original name?
original name for the GoBots, because GoBots is the name that Tonka released them under here in the United States. The Japanese company, I can't actually remember what the name was called in Japan because I did. I know there's a Japanese company, but I can't remember what the name was. But that company actually ended up getting bought out by um, the company that turned into what the hell? The company that started um Power Rangers. So the
Saban.
yeah,
Yep.
Saban actually bought out the company that started the GoBot series in Japan, and I can't remember that company's name, but they ended up buying them out.
Um,
So
um, do you remember? Do you know what the toy line was called in Japan?
I can't remember that. It was a weird name, and I can't remember what it was called.
Um, okay. Um, it was called. It was called. It was. It was called. It was called Machine Robo.
Yeah, that's it. I recognize when you say it. I recognize that's the name. I couldn't think. I knew it, but I couldn't think of it. Machine Robot. It was. I don't even know the storyline, but like the Transformer toys actually came from two different toy lines, which like
Yeah. Um.
the Bumblebee, the Cliff Jumper, and whatnot. They're actually modeled to look like the actual penny racers.
Yep.
They come from the micro line, the Microman line that Takara had, and like Optimus Prime and the
Other guys came from.
yeah Optimus Prime and the cars came from the Diaclone series, but like Megatron and Soundwave actually were from the Microman line because
Nuh-uh, nuh-uh. Um, they were from. They were from. They were from. They were from a line called Micro Change.
yeah, Micro Change progressed into Microman, which it's all the same line. They were supposed to look like toy versions of actual things. Like that's why Megatron looked like a Walter P-38,
And
but he looked like a toy version of a P-38, and that's why Soundwave looked like a miniature micro cassette player because they were actually supposed to look like you know actual toys that transformed.
the
It's like
the
that's why uh,
the
Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper look like penny racers. They were supposed to be penny racers that transformed into robots.
the original Soundwave when it was released under the Micro Change line actually played music.
One version. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, the one original version in Japan, yeah. It was too expensive for them to make
And
like that.
it was it was too expensive for them to do um a, a, a direct um uh, uh a, di- a direct import.
Yeah. He actually in Japan the first series of him actually did. The second series of him was cheapened up to where he didn't. So when he got into the Transformer line, it was the one that didn't have any of the functionality left, but he still had the uh, spot on his back where you could take it open, and his two weapons that looked like batteries could be
Mm-hmm.
transformed down, stuck in his back to look like batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So they took they had took the functionality out of the toy like a year or two before they ever made it into the actual Hasbro Transformer version of Soundwave.
And
So
it also um there's still revenant. There's st- uh, the only remnant of that of the fact that it actually played music is that the headphone jack is a 3.5 headphone jack.
yeah, yeah, and they actually continued that on. If you remember, I think it was from the third series they came out with the Autobot named Blaster that
Yes.
transformed into the small boombox. He
Yeah.
was a direct.
It.
He was a he was a copy of Soundwave. I'm not I'm not for sure if they ever had the Japanese version play music, but he was styled exactly like Soundwave, except for his legs were speakers instead of part of the Walkman. And I was going to tell you about another one, and it
You
just
are.
slipped my mind about the one. Oh, Shockwave. You know about Shockwave?
Yeah. Shockwave was one of the only uh, G1 Transformers that actually um actually got to keep um their oh shoot
Yeah,
their
yeah.
electronics.
He was the first. Yeah, he was the first one in the second run, series 2 of the Transformers that got to keep his electronic lights and sound, which the exact same time that Soundwave came out in purple and gray, Radio Shack, the company that ran Radio Shack, actually the company that made that figure, put out Galactic Man in in uh in gray instead of gray and purple. He was just all gray, and he had some metal parts, and that's the character that fans nicknamed Shackwave, because the fact that he was a Radio Shack version of Shockwave.
And
He
and
didn't he didn't come with the purple Decepticon stickers or anything. You know, they just put him out as Galactic Man, so his color scheme was mostly gray, and some of the translucent parts were, instead of being purple, were red.
um
And so the fans nicknamed him Shackwave.
that's cool. Mm, can can correct me if I'm wrong, but Soundwave was like was like was like 4 or 5 inches, and and Blaster was closer to like 7 or 8, because I remember Soundwave and Blaster were not the same size in robot
Yeah,
mode.
yeah, they didn't. In robot mode, Blaster stood about 2 to 2.5 inches taller, maybe. And that was because the base, like the body section of the toy, was similar, for Blaster, they took out a heck of a lot of the extra features. But Blaster on his legs, the part that would become the calf of the leg of Soundwave turned into the speaker section of Blaster. So it was a little bit bigger and beefier. So when he was in not robot mode, but figure, what would you call it? Auto mode or whatever you'd call his disguise, he would be a little bit longer and taller than Soundwave, because Soundwave was supposed to be a micro cassette player, which Blaster was actually supposed to be a regular sized cassette playing boombox. So he had speakers attached, so his leg sections were a little bit bigger, but his basic transformation was identical.
Mhm.
His head mold was different. His abdomen section was so close it could have been a direct copy, which I'm not sure if it wasn't a direct copy or not. But then his upper thighs and his calves were enlarged, so he would actually stand taller than Soundwave.
The 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 last, I don't know if they'll do a Soundwave and Blaster in the future, but the last time we've had an in scale Blaster and Soundwave would actually technically turn Blaster and Soundwave. Yep. Where they were actually they were
Two
actually they were
two
actually technically triple changer, because they went from
really?
they went from Boombot, okay, Boombot to bass to robot.
Really? That's very interesting to know, because I hadn't really kept in touch with Transformers since like 2008. So I don't know what they've done with the line since, but that's very interesting. 'Cause I remember back in the day when they made the movie, the Transformer animated movie, they were trying to have each side equalized in power. Like, that's why they came out with Blaster, because the Decepticons had Soundwave, so Autobots had to have Blaster as a communications officer. And of course, like Perceptor, he was one that actually, yeah, he transformed from a microscope into a robot, but he was supposed to be like kind of the equivalent to Starscream as being the second in command in science, technology, whatnot. Were But in the toy versions, they didn't actually add up. So I don't know. That kind of lost me on that one. That was weird. But
Um,
uh,
um, in Titan's Return, they did an entire um line of of basically
Now, I do know on the first run of Perceptor that they released the
the
actual
microscope actually worked.
yeah, it actually worked pretty good because they all of them came with a little slide to put down that you could see. But like the first run came with 3 slides, and you could actually put them under Perceptor in microscope mode and actually see what the slides were showing you. In like the second run, I mean, it didn't work good, and he only came with 1 slide. I don't know if he actually came with 1 slide strip or if he didn't come with any of them. But originally, he was a full functioning microscope in the original toy line. But when he when he was produced under the Hasbro Takara line, the first, I forget how it wasn't even the whole first run, but because they were already parts that Takara had made, and Hasbro's like, yes, slapping together, and we'll put this on. You know, they changed some of the stickers and put him out as Perceptor as a Transformer, so he never actually hit the Microman line. But some of the early figures actually came with the extra parts that the Microman line would have came with.
They in Titan's Return they get an entire line of basically headmasters.
That's pretty cool. Look at whose head is that?
Um um Scourge.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was. I kind of thought it was wild when I was a kid. They came out with the movie line of characters, and the next series, like a year or two later, they put out the same freaking figures with headmasters. It's like, or target masters, and I'm like, what the heck? I already got this one. Why do I have to buy this one to get him with his target master companions? I was like, dang, that made me mad.
Yeah. I think they should have sold the target masters. Um, they should have sold the target masters in um individually from the figures.
That would have been a pain in the ass.
So basically, um you had your um you weren't going through the entire new line. You were enhancing your old collection.
Well, see, that's the thing. If they sold the headmaster separate, that would mean, I guess that they would have charged $2 or $3 for the headmaster. Say, mm, say like the Chrome Dome. You know which car Chrome Dome is. So if
Yeah,
they sold his head separate,
um, um,
if
it didn't
they sold his head.
isn't he the brown and tan car?
Yeah, that's the one. So if they sold his head separate, I'd say maybe $2 or $3 for just the head. Then they would have had the chrome dome body, and you'd have to buy separate. So if your parents didn't know anything about the line, they would have gone out and bought the chrome dome body and be like, "Here you go," and you'd be like, "Cool, now I have a transformer without no freaking head."
Um, in the Titan, in the
You know, so selling them
in the
separate.
Titan Return line, um, um, uh, Chrome Dome came with the toy accurate head. Um, but in the Legends line, he came with the anime accurate head. The animation accurate head.
Yeah, which I think the head back in the day, the original Headmaster line was pretty cool because when you attached the head to the body, the meter on their chest showed you their strength, speed, and durability or whatnot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that's the thing. Like when you got up to the bigger one, like say Fortress Maximus, Cerebros, when Spike combined with Cerebros, it would show Cerebros's uh text on the screen. But
Um,
when you changed Cerebros into the head of Fortress Maximus and stuck him on, Fortress Maximus did not have one of those uh scale readouts in his chest. So
um,
it didn't make.
yep.
And if you want to know, I actually did end up owning actual Fortress Maximus body from the 80s, and I had the Korean made version of him from the RID series that didn't get released in the United States, but he was released in Japan. But he was made in a factory in Korea. They called him Brave Max in that series, but it was the same identical toy. So I had those. I had both versions of him. I had the Brave Max and the Fortress Max versions.
I thought,
But the Fortress Max version, I never actually owned the official head.
I
I
I thought Breakman was re- I thought Breakman was released here.
You thought Brave Max was what now?
I thought Breakman was released here.
Brave Max, he was never officially released in the United States. You could you could get him through like Big Bag Toy Store and whatnot, but he was never officially released in toy stores. He was still a Japanese figure because they never actually officially released him in the United States.
Why do I
Yeah, being in the United States, you can, but through like Big Bad Toy Store and whatnot, but or online toy stores, but you couldn't buy him. You couldn't go to Toys R Us and get him.
why do I have a vivid toy memory of seeing Brave Mass in person?
You might have seen him at a toy show. There was right before he was released as Brave Max, they had a release of what was I can't remember what he was called, slightly different color scheme, but he was released as a giveaway, special giveaway figure that you could win through some comic book article or you know thing where he was called what was he called? I can't remember what he was called, but he ended that version of him ended up coming with the exact same weapons and everything that Brave Fortress Maximus came with, but in different color. But then when they released Brave Max, he did not come with the two big guns that he held in his hands that Brave Max and the other version had. I mean, not Brave Max, Fortress Maximus and the other version had. I think they call him Grand Max or something. I can't remember. It's been too long. But no, he was never. Brave Max was never officially released in the United States. If you got him, somebody, if he was get somebody, if you received him, somebody gave him to you, they ordered it through the internet. Because when I bought my Brave Maximus, he was around $330 something through the internet, and that was the only way you could get him. He might have been on some of the store uh, what you call it, the store display, the picture works that they displayed at the stores. He might have been on the that stuff at Toys R Us, but Toys R Us never actually carried him because Toys R Us deemed him too expensive and did not think American buyers would buy him. So, so that, that's why he never got released here. We're we're lucky they actually decided to release Unicron under the was it was the Unicron Armada or Energon? I can't remember.
They released the original Unicron under Armada, and they did a black
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they did a black and green version for Energon.
yeah, I remember now because they did the version that they did for Armada, and then they recolored him for Energon. I actually took one of them since they were the same molds. You could swap parts. I actually swapped parts from them where I can't remember which pieces I swapped. It's like the pieces that formed his chest. They on the Armada version they were clear. On the Energon they were a different color. I swapped out all those parts between two of them, and I thought he looked pretty cool. And then they released the what was his name? Um, the next Planet one that they released was the one that actually transformed into Cybertron, which was Primus.
Yeah, Primus.
Yeah, I like Primus. I had a Primus. I don't have a Primus at the moment. I do have a. I do have a Unicron, Armada version of Unicron still in the box. I had never taken out because I bought him from my friend when he was needing some money. But
I I have
I
floating around
I
here
sold my Primus.
a a gold version, a gold, uh, a gold cyber planet, cyber planet key.
A gold cyber planet key.
Yep.
Cool. I can't remember what that promotion was. I remember the cyber planet keys, and they only lasted. Cyber planet keys were they only in? No, they weren't Energon. They were the.
They were Cybertron.
Yeah, they were Cybertron line. They had the Energon keys.
The the fourth the four figures you had to get the gold version of the cyber planet keys were were Evac, Scourge, Override, and shoot. And for Giant Planet, it would oh shoot, it would I I think it was a version of oh shoot, a Metroplex.
I can't remember. I do know they came out with a new version of Omega Supreme that everybody was hot about. I remember they were so hot about them coming out with a new Mega Supreme, and then the new Omega Supreme was kind of a flop because it was nothing like the original.
Because they made him a headmaster.
Yeah, and
that's that's
yeah, he was
the main reason it was a flop, because they made him a headmaster.
Yeah, he was the only one in that line that was a headmaster, but he could combine with Optimus Prime of that same line. And if let's see, that was Energon. So he could combine with Optimus Prime. But unlike the ones before him, like in Energon and the Armada, Optimus Prime could combine with Jetfire and I can't think of what they called the version, but he was red. He turned into guns that could mount on Optimus Prime's shoulders. He was like a fire engine that turned into a robot that could turn into guns for Optimus Prime in superior mode when he like joined with Jetfire. The there was old, but was colored as Ultra Magnus. And I'm trying to think of.
Oh shoot! It was oh
Is
I
that,
think it was called Overhide.
oh yeah, it was over something. It was over height or over some over. I can't remember. It was over something, and he he was the identical mode to. He was the, he was a they recolored him into convention exclusive as Ultra Magnus. So because they had to have it able for Ultra Magnus to combine with Optimus for some reason, but it wasn't in the. It didn't link into the cartoon or anything because it was a convention exclusive. So it was only in the convention exclusive comic book where they talked about that. But yeah, that was pretty neat that they had those combined together. And if I ever find one, I want to get another Promise the planet robot because I don't have him. I had one, but I sold him off.
Make sure um
And
make
the one I
sure
had,
you get him. Make sure you get him with the
yeah, there was two versions of him released. One version actually came with the Unicron head that was supposedly
make
the
sure
only part of
when you
Unicron that survived that ended up
mhm.
orbiting.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but make sure you get the um um make sure and at least have the Omega lock.
yeah,
Because um if it doesn't that can that can that transformer's gonna be a bitch to transform without it.
yeah. You know, a bunch of these, like the giant star screen that came out under Armada,
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of like the Armada, Energon, and whatnot characters. I could probably buy off my not nephew, my cousin Josh because he had them. So I might hit him up and to see if I can get those from him. So because I don't want to get like all the Armada line, all the Energon line or stuff. Like I want Primus because he's the planet Cybertron. I got the original version of Unicron. I wouldn't mind having the Energon version that's, opposite colors. So there's just certain ones of them I'm wanting to collect back. Since I had them all at one point and I sold them all off. So it's like the alternators line. I had a I had several alternators and I had two different versions of Blue Streak or Silver Streak or whatever you want to call him. I actually had the American release of well, I had two different versions of the American release of Blue Streak be, because one version had the right hand driving where you was on on where the steering wheel was on the left hand side of the car, and I had one that had the steering wheel on the right side of the car. Because in the alternator line was released in Japan as what was the name in Japan? It was just on the tip of my tongue and I forgot it. But the version in Japan had more metal parts than the American version, but there was some of the smoke silver streaks released with the wrong parts because the parts were all compatible. The Japanese version of them had metal parts, where the American versions had all plastic parts, but all the parts were interchangeable. And I had a blue streak with the right hand driver steering wheel setup instead of the left handed. That was one I kind of wished I never sold because, yeah, it went for like 3 times as much as the of the regular version, but I'll never be able to get that one again. You still there?
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a couple of rare Japanese versions of Beast War figures. There was a couple. Well, there's quite a bit of Beast War figures that never got released in the United States. So, but some
Um,
of them, some of them did come out under the Universe line. Some of them didn't end up having their full functionality. There there was a raptor looking dinosaur that had a um uh, top of his head had a dome head on it that had spikes around it where he could butt into stuff. They had a version in the Japanese line, but they never had one for the American line. Hey, here's a question for you, Robbie. The Beast Wars line, what was Optimus Prime's original beast form in the toy line?
that one's easy. That one's easy. An alligator.
No, 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 no. That was Megatron. Megatron was the alligator, the original
Oh no
version.
no 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 no. Optimus was a. It was an alligator and shoot, a, a bat.
Yeah, you got it. There you go. And they were they're auto transformers where you actually didn't have to do much. You move one part and they actually spring helped transform from one form to another. So they were, in my opinion, that was halfway between GoBots and real Transformers because they were spring loaded changing bots. But yeah,
They must have used um um they must have used the skeleton engineering from ah, from the jump starters.
it was similar to the Jump Starters, but it was similar, same concept. No pullback motors, but yeah, you just had to move one part and they would automatically transform. So yeah, and Optimus was a bat and Megatron was an alligator. So in the cartoon series, the Beast Wars cartoon series, Optimus become Optimal Prime, a monkey, and Megatron became a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I have a trick question for you. Who was the first the who was the first new um the the first new Maximal to appear in Beast Wars?
The first new Maximum,
Mm-hmm.
I'll, from my perspective, I'd probably have to say Cheetor, because he was actually supposed to be like the Bumblebee style figure, or a, later known as a hot rod, uh, or hot shot, as in uh, Armada. He was known as Hot Shot. So
Um, um,
Cheetor.
no, um, I don't think you're understanding. Okay, um, besides um four Autobots the four Maximals we start off our journey with, um, uh, um, which is Rhinox, Rat Trap, Cheetor, and Primal. Um, who was their first comrade? Um, 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 that they um found after their stasis pods that they put in orbit crash landed on prehistoric Earth.
Are you talking about Tigertron?
Yes.
I do see. I wasn't all the way into the actual Beast Wars cartoon. I do know some about it, and I do know that the original Cheetor toy was recolored into Tigertron with a tail section that turned was a weapon on both of them, so you could actually swap parts in between the two figures. And I do know the original Rat Trap was a spring-loaded auto transformer. So if you pulled his tail down, he would automatically transform into the robot mode. Which
Um.
I couldn't tell you a whole lot about the cartoon series and all that, because I really didn't follow the cartoon series. I know some about it. I know there's something to do with the record that was on Voyager Run, Voyager, Voyager 1.
One.
that they actually incorporated and actually had the Transformer version of the record because some
Um,
African company actually made those for toy props, and I have those. So
um,
and
um,
Bronnox was actually supposed to be a reincarnation of Ironhide.
what was, shoot, um, what, um, what beast modes did, um, the Transformers that'll, line themselves with Megatron mainly transform into?
Which version of Mega? Are you talking about Beast Wars Megatron?
Yep.
Okay, Beast Wars of Megatron was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. He had Tarantular that was a tarantula. Um, Dinobot, which was a raptor, and I can't think of the if there was another one in the first lineup. In the second lineup, uh, Black Arachnia came in, which was a direct recolor of Tarantular. Dinobot was a recolor of Dinobot again, which Dinobot ended up changing colors when they changed his character totally up to be sort of an ally with the Autobot or the Maximals.
You um there was one more there was one more Transformer um that was available um that first year in Beast Wars.
Yeah, Optimus Primal, and it was Rhinox, Cheetor, and Rat Trap.
It was in the
The Predacon, Predacons was Megatron, Translor,
mm-hmm.
and I just mentioned the other one, and I can't think of who the hell it was.
Okay. Um
Waspinator.
think yep, yep.
Yeah. He was a
What
originally
world?
originally he was portrayed as a descendant of Starscream. So he was linked to Starscream, and I don't remember how they linked him to Starscream.
Starscream's ghost possessed him.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that part, but the reason why Starscream could possess him was he was somehow a descendant of Starscream, or somehow he was somehow linked genetically to Starscream, and I can't remember. Yeah, that all became screwy because when they took Beast Wars into Machine, was it Beast Wars to the next version? I can't. what was the next?
It was um the next version in the toy line was Transmetal, but the next series was Beast Machines.
Yeah, Beast Machines. When they went from Beast Wars to Beast Machines, things kind of got a little bit more screwy. When they went from Predacons to Viacons, and Ronox become actually turned out to be one of the Decepticons, or not? Well, Predacon Viacons, but then
He was
overcame his
actually he was
brainwash
actually
or something.
um he was actually the the head the head Viacon.
Yeah, Tankor, was it Tankor or something like that?
Yep, Tankor.
And which he was actually like mind brainwashed or something to become a big con or some weird. See, I didn't follow the Beast Wars, so when they went to Machine Wars, I didn't know nothing about no Machine Wars. I did have I did end up having some Machine War figures, the toys, but I didn't know the whole lineup, and I didn't understand the story. So by the time they ended up separating Optimus into Optimal Optimus and Optimal Op, he was Optimal Optimus and something. When they started doing all that crap in the record from Voyager come in to play and all that crap,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't into it, the storylines anymore, so I don't know anything about all that crap. That confused the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never understood why Megatron went from being a from a robot to transforming into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, to where he transformed into a he was either a dragon or some robotic looking dude with a big gray
It
cape.
was it was
I'm
a it was a dragon.
Yeah,
How how he got his dragon form is he absorbed the spark of the of the G1
yeah. I
of
kind
the
of know what you're
G1
talking about. I kind of remember some of those episodes. I didn't really watch all the cartoons. I did catch a couple of them. I remember something about him doing with that, and the records having to do with how he absorbed the spark or something. But it kind of left him vulnerable because he couldn't fully do something or something. I can't remember, but I do remember that, and I do remember at one point they actually stated that the Megatron in Beast Wars was not Megatron from the original series. It was a descendant of Megatron, because if you follow the storyline in the G1 line, the movie in Megatron dies in the movie and becomes Galvatron when Unicron reformats him. So he wouldn't have been converted back to a Megatron. So it was a descendant of Megatron that was the dinosaur, Megatron Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Beast Wars in the Beast Wars line. Sorry, I'm yawning through half of what I'm saying.
Um, the 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 Beast Wars line was a cool line overall, but it was played with GPS. Um, which stands for gold plastic syndrome. Every every figure that is loose that has gold plastic syndrome has broke. Every single figure with gold plastic parts has broken one way or another.
Ooh, so they had a problem with the gold plastic like Lego had with the brittle blue and the dark red and whatnot.
And also uh and also brown.
Yeah, the brown and whatnot. Because I don't know if you're aware of it, but according to some of the stuff I've read, Lego in the early 2000s, after they got the Star Wars license to produce Star Wars, somewhere between 99 and 2004, they, instead of having their plastic pre-mixed and brought to the factory under the different colors, they changed and opted to start mixing their own plastic. And that is why, like, we ended up having the brittle browns, the brittle dark reds, and the brittle blues, because they didn't have their uh, chemical mixture right, because they started doing it themselves. And those are the most complicated colors. And if you don't get the mixture exactly right, it makes them brittle. And there's some parts that that are pretty strong in the beginning, but end up over time they end up getting brittle. Excuse me, I'm yawning again. But yet because of the plastic component, the different chemicals that they mix into it for the different colors cause problems. And after they started getting back to making money, after they started of course, from like late 90s into the 2000s, they were struggling. And what helped save them was Bionicle and Star Wars, because
And,
they got the license to
it
Star
would
Wars.
it would mainly it would mainly by it would mainly Bionicle.
Yeah, that's what Bionicle people would want you to know, but Bionicle itself wouldn't have saved it if they hadn't have got the Star Wars line too. Because Star Wars started in '99, and I'm not sure exactly what year Bionicle started. I think it started around 2001 or so, give or take a year. But that that did help them get back into the red. But if it was, if they hadn't had both of them, they wouldn't have survived. So, um, when and they started, that's when they started mixing their own plastic. They figured it would be cheaper for them to mix and make their own plastic, and that they didn't. That's why they came out with brittle browns, brittle dark reds, and brittle blues. Because they didn't get the precise uh when my the precise the right the exact recipe from the company that they were getting their plastic from. So they had to come up with their own mixtures on the colors, and that's where you have the change from the old original dark gray to the pearl dark gray, and the light gray to the pearl light gray. Through those years, that's when they started making their own, mixing their own colors, and they didn't have the recipes. That's why there was brittle blues and whatnot in the beginning. Parts the parts that they make now. Sorry, but the parts they make now and those colors shouldn't be as brittle as they were in the beginning because they learned from their mistakes. You still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And we're still live, and I'm ranting, and I'm getting more hard to understand because I'm so tired. I don't know if you noticed, but in the chat earlier, I typed, "I'm snowed in."
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah. You can get, you can get pan and hook at a, at a double pack, um, right now for, um, it will, it will basically cost you, um, um, uh, $30, um, to to ship it to your door, and you get
really that's
pan and hook
that's
uh,
pretty cool.
on
Is that,
on eBay
is
right
that
now.
is that on eBay? Okay, I was going to ask you if that was eBay or Bricklink.
No, it's eBay.
I don't know. I was looking on eBay earlier, so I actually ended up having to create a account under my name or my username now. I used to have a eBay account set up under. Sorry, I'm getting there. But I used to have an eBay account set up under a different name, but I don't have access to that email anymore. So they made me register when I was looking earlier today. So I I guess I can. order from eBay now. But what was I talking about? Oh, I looked up on eBay to see because the year of the ox figure that was that's a gift with purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I got, including that one. I have 4 of the year of the animals, and I looked up on Brickset to see if what ones I missed. I've missed the year of the sheep, the year of the monkey, and year of the rooster. And I was looking at it earlier, and the Brick Vibe eBay store actually has the year of the rooster for $29 and something cents. I don't remember how much cents. Not including shipping now. I was thinking about buying that one from them, but I was wanting to get all of the year of the whatever animal zodiac signs that they had, which technically there's one out there that is, I don't know how I'd rule it, but there's the year of the snake that came out in 2013, designed by what was his name? Mel. Crap, I can't remember his last name. Mel something and another, and he's actually the one that designed the the other 4 or the 3. I mean, designed a lot of small sets that Lego has released, and I can't remember all of them. But
You sound like you're getting some sleepy.
yeah, a little bit slippy, a little bit drunk. Yeah,
And it um and it's like and it's almost midnight here. Wow.
good grief! If it's midnight there, it means it's almost 1 o'clock. What me and my bifocals. Oh crap! That means it's 1:22 a.m. here.
It's almost 2 where you are.
Yep, 30 minutes away, a little bit more. But guess what? I'm freaking snowed in. I got the day off tomorrow again. I'm working on a 5-day weekend. Robbie, what do you think about that? And
Cool.
we're probably not working the rest of the week because the temperature is not speculated to go above 34 for the rest of the week. And the snow and sleet won't melt off the streets if it don't get over 34 degrees.
Hi, LG.
Oh, we have somebody in the chat. I see you posted 2 big things. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says.
I posted the link to the eBay listing of the screws and of the hook and pan set.
Cool.
And I remembered what that what the fencing sword is called. It's called a rapier. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that sounds, I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't know. I thought it started with an F, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I was able to complete my monster fighter crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the only figure I did not have out of the monster fighter crew was when when Major Quentin. It was either Major Quentin Steele or Jack McHammer. Um, but I found him in a bulk lot over a year ago. I currently um um currently the minifig teams I have complete are are Dino Attack, um, uh, oh shoot, oh, um, he, um, uh, Hero Factory. Oh shoot. Dino Attack, Hero Factory, Power Miners, Atlantis, Pharaoh's Quest. Well, do I have? Mars Mission. That's it. Yep. Wow. 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 I didn't realize that I had so many um teams finished. Oh, Alpha Team. That's another one. You did you fall asleep?
Huh? No, I might be close falling asleep. Sorry, Robbie.
That's 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 fine. I was starting to fall asleep too. Um um
I'm
so
glad you I'm glad you said something because I was starting to dream about some dragon attacking my feet.
So I was thinking about ending it and going and get ready for bed.
Yeah, it sounds like a good one.
Hmm. Well, well, we went for a couple, um, we went for like an hour and a half, at least.
Yeah, I think I think it's easy for me and you to go for quite a while. We just start getting to ramble about stupid crap, and time just kind of flies right by.
Yeah,
Because according to YouTube, you've been streaming for about 3 hours, and when I joined you, it said you had been streaming for 22 minutes.
yeah, okay.
So you've been going for like 3 hours.
Wow. Yeah,
And I've only been on here for about 2.5 of them. So
well, um, I think I'm gonna end it um, um, because I'm starting to run out of fuel.
yeah, I know how you feel. I'm about ready to fall asleep on myself.
Um, so everybody, um, um, thanks for watching. Even even if this was just a um a dis- a discussion between some two people with nobody watching. Um, thanks for watching. Who Whoever watches this in the future, and and me and Dude are gonna um go off into dreamland now, and and I'm gonna go cuddle with my kitty cats. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.